One thing to remember when you're cooking on a charcoal grill is that you're actually cooking over a live fire. Even after the flames burn down and you just got the gray charcoal, grayed over charcoal, it's still a live fire. So it kind of helps to understand what keeps a fire going. There's this thing called the fire triangle. It's 3 elements that you have to keep a fire going. Without any one of those elements, the fire burns out. Those elements are heat, fuel, and oxygen. Now the heat, of course, is whatever you use to start the fire. The fuel, of course, is the charcoal that we're going to be using to cook on. Fire is always consuming the fuel source, so sometimes as the fuel burns out, you have to add more fuel. Third, and the most important one, and probably the source of the problem that most people are having with their charcoal burning out, is oxygen. So assuming that you're using dry charcoal and you're not having any problem getting it lit, then the only thing left in that triangle is oxygen. Most people don't notice the vents. They may notice the one at the top, but they definitely very seldom notice that there's also one down at the bottom. Now, people think about the vent at the top as just, okay, well, that must be just there for the smoke to come out of. You know, it's an exhaust vent. Most people don't think about the vent at the bottom. And even if they do, they usually think it's for the same thing that the top vent is for. But both of these vents have a very, very important reasons for being there, and it is to make sure that the fire has a constant source of oxygen. So if these vents are closed, then the fire is being starved of oxygen and it starts to go out, especially the bottom vent. The bottom vent is at the bottom of the grill specifically, so it's closer to the fuel source. So a lot of times, because people don't really recognize or really notice that that vent is down there, sometimes the vent is closed and they don't know it. Now the top vent is more of an exhaust vent for sure. I mean, it gives the smoke and heat a place to escape, but make no mistake, oxygen does come into your grill through that top vent. Matter of fact, I always recommend to people that the first thing you should do when you take your meat off and you're done is to close both of those vents, because closing both of the vents starves the charcoal of oxygen and makes sure that it goes out. Don't even come back to clean your grill until the next day or the next time you cook, because it takes that long for them to completely extinguish. Closing both vents speeds up that process dramatically because it starts the fire of the oxygen that it needs to keep burning. Now, aside from providing oxygen to your charcoals, oxygen to your fire, those vents do provide a very important second feature that is a must when you're cooking with a live fire, and that is temperature control. Inside, when you're cooking in the oven, you just turn a dial. If you turn it up, you turn it to the right, the heat goes up. You turn it to the left, the heat goes down. The equivalent of that on the grill is your vents, and I'm going to go into that in a lot more detail in this next video, so make sure you stick around and watch that next video. It's the perfect companion to this video right here. But long story short, if your charcoal is burning out too fast, check that bottom vent. It might be closed. Watch the next video to learn how to use those vents to control the temperature in your grill.